Start me, Shanti.
Namaste and a very good evening to one and all. I'm Shantamina, corporate trainer and communication coach. Welcome to Leaders Connect 360 Foundations episode LC0205. Leaders Connect 360 Foundation is a non-profit organization aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals SDG. Our mission is to invite 1,000 plus leaders and create 1,000,000 leaders. Every Wednesday, we come together from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. on Zoom Live to gain insights from top management leaders and last week of the month from authors. And once every quarter, we take it offline in different cities to network, support, and grow together. Because at Leaders Connect 360, we strongly believe that leaders create more leaders. Today, we have our guest speaker, Mr. Prem Anand, Head Talent Acquisition, Narayana Health, our panel discussion leader, Ms. Rashmi Jaswal, founder of Research Eye. Before we kickstart the episode, a quick reminder. Please keep your videos on for an engaging experience. First-time visitors, check out the WhatsApp, Facebook, and LinkedIn links in the chat box to stay connected and grow with us. This episode is being recorded for our community archives. Now, let's set the energy high. If you are excited and ready for an impactful session, drop a thumbs up or a smiley in the chat. Yes, great energy. Fantastic. And before we go, let me introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Prem Anand, Head Talent Acquisition, Narayana Health. Let me also introduce Mr. Pankaj Vyaz, Managing Partner, Bija Training, who will be interacting with our guest alongside our panel discussion leader, Ms. Rashmi Jaswal, founder of Research Eye. Without further delay, let's get started. Over to you, Mr. Pankaj.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shantamina. Thanks so much. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all on behalf of Bija Training, the Mass Leadership, and the Leaders Connect. And yes, I'm really proud to say that we are taking up this LC0205 episode, right? And we are really happy to have Mr. Prem Anand today as our guest. And also, I welcome Dr. Rashmi Jaswal for this panel discussion today. So welcome, panel discussion leader and our guest for this great evening. Thank you so much. And yes, the topic of today is being more creative, right? And for sure, as I always say, that we all are going to take away some learning today for sure, right?
Absolutely.
And this tagline, which has come from the topic itself, which is called from problem solver to possibility creator, right? And it has become a habit of people that, they talk problems, but nobody talks solution, right? And that is where I believe Mr. Premanand is going to, give us certain insights that how we can be talking about the solutions instead of the problems, right? So before we move forward, I would like to have formally welcome both of you through a mode of a welcome video. So Arul, can we have the welcome video, please? Thank you so much, Arul. And here I will formally welcome you, Mr. Prem Anand and Dr. Rashmi.
Hi, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you, Santamina. Thank you for the nice video, Arul. And thank you, Pankaj, for kickstarting the show today.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rashmi. Also, I would like to, get the people's understanding
Oh,
before Mr.
yeah.
Prem Anand gets
Yes.
on the floor. So,
Yes.
I have shared my understanding from the topic, right? Let's see what people understand and are they going to align with us on this topic. So, let's have a poll. So, Arul, can we have the poll and let's see what people understand of the topic today? So, can we have the poll question, please? Oh, great.
Yes, on the screen. So the question is, what do you believe is the biggest creativity killer in today's world? The options are constant digital distractions, fear of judgment or failure, lack of time and space to think. Yes, let's see
So,
what does people understand
can
about
we
this
have
question.
people going for this poll question, please? Let's
Yes,
see. So it's
35
just 1 minute.
percentage.
I would like all to participate for this.
50% is done, 50% yet to answer. Yes, make it fast. Good one, good one. Yes, yes. 8 more people yet to answer the poll. Make it fast. Okay, Pankaj, let me start the poll and let me project share the answers.
Yeah, please, Arul. So what is the result of it, Arul?
Yes, this is the result.
So we have 62% of the people saying it's a fear of judgment or failure. So let's
Oh.
see whether this understanding aligns with what Mr. Premanand is going to share with us. Welcome, Mr. Prem.
Uh,
Go on,
sorry,
Rashmi.
carry on. Yeah, carry
Yeah,
on.
yeah, please, sir. Go ahead, sir. Now the floor is open for you and Ms. Rashmi.
Wonderful, great. So thank you so much for inviting me. I mean, like it's a pleasure already so far. And you know what? I think this whole setup is in itself a beautiful example of creativity. To look at my photo, coming up on the screen like that, it's nothing short of creativity, right? So you guys have already shown what creativity can do. I mean, like if it had been as dry as saying that, okay, Prem is going to talk, and then you bring me on and let me speak, I don't know if that would have been as creative as what you guys just put up as a show.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much, sir.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Premanand. Welcome. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you on our show today. Should we dive straight into the discussion, sir?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, Rashmi, and yeah, thanks to all of the audience on this one for giving time because very few people really want to listen. I think most people are used to talking so much that you have very few listeners left. So I hope we are able to make some difference today with
Yeah,
the time
sure.
that people have invested.
Yes, sure. Let's go to the first question. There are two parts of the question. In today's fast-paced world, what are the biggest blockers to creativity and how we can consciously overcome them?
Right. So probably if I may take a couple of minutes to kind of you know unfurl what creativity and innovation really means in a day-to-day world. I think I'm sure all of us understand it well enough. So maybe just giving a different context to it will probably give a different point of view as well, right? So I mean, like, if you look at creativity, so what would be one of the uh, most common or most ancient field where there has been creative expression in humanity? I don't know if we'll have enough time to take inputs, but then just to kind of break it up for me, I think art, right? Various forms of art is a prime example of creative expression, and as humans for thousands of years, we have expressed ourselves, we have expressed our creative, creativity through various forms of art. Uh, and art is boundless. Art is, it's boundaryless, and there is just no end to what you can create through the medium of art, right? So and art is essentially based on imagination. So an expression of art is just an expression of human ingenuity and creativity, right? So I think that's what creativity, as in the simplest form, can be something that we can take away. So we can express ourselves through various forms and mediums of art. I think that applies to pretty much everything that we do on a day-to-day basis. So, so where then does art tie up with innovation? So maybe just this is an example. If we think of cinema, filmmaking, right? Uh, for 100 years, I think all of us have had this idea of big blockbuster movies of King Kong and Godzilla. So we've seen this for 100 years. So if you look at the earliest Godzilla or the earliest King Kong, these are creative expressions of what humanity would go through if a large lizard or a large ape would come amongst us. But look at it from the context of innovation in film technology, right? Over 100 years, the storytelling of King Kong and Godzilla has evolved. So filmmaking has, with more and more innovation in filmmaking technology, we've just got better at expressing this one to make it more realistic. So I think that's what for me, art and innovation, sorry, creativity and innovation really kind of stems up from. So to kind of answer more directly your question on in today's fast-paced world, I think the poll question kind of touched upon it, and everybody kind of picked what they thought was right. And I think that's precisely the biggest problem that we have: fear of failure, right? So we want to, kind of be aligned. All of us want to be aligned to what has been instructed. We are told right from whether it is our school days or whether you get into your first job as an intern or as a junior executive, you're told to just follow orders. You're just told to follow instructions, follow a manual, follow compliance. So that kind of kills creativity to a large extent. Now, I'm not advocating that you don't follow rules and norms and all of that, but I think every person has his or her opportunity to express themselves differently in the work that they do. So, and I think fear of failure is a big blocker because if I have a sense that I will fail, I immediately have this sense of fear that I will be judged, or it's going to affect my performance. So we are more impacted by the things that we are made to believe that as employees, or even artists for that matter, or any field that you get into, you just have to stick to what is expected of you, and this is what is expected. So nobody wants to break those barriers. I think that's the biggest blocker, really. And I think also, inaction. We tend to just let things be the way they are. If things are not broken, why fix them? Kind of mindset. That's also something that I think we need to get out of. So if something is working good, we believe that that's as good as it can be. No,
Absolutely.
trust me. There's every chance that you can make the thing work better. You can make it better uh, for someone. So it's really up to you in terms of how better you can make things work, whether it is a product, whether it is a service, anything for that matter.
Great. Yeah. I'm sorry I interrupted. You wanted to say anything, sir?
No, that's where I pause. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just love the way you started the discussion speaking about art and creativity, because it's so true. we are we are so fearful about trying something new because we feel that what if we fail? What will be the repercussions of failing? Nobody wants to fail. Everybody wants to be a big success in this world. But to take the risk and to cross that boundary, is extremely important. I feel today it's become even more important in the world of competition that you define yourself a bit more differently from the others. That's what I feel. And creativity is the only way we can do it. That's what I genuinely feel.
Absolutely. See, as an example, I think another way that we can look at this is, see, we are all of us, we go to school and we have these aspirations built into us. I think a lot of kids lose their sense of freedom when they're, told that, okay, this is probably the way to success, even before they understand. As children, even before we understand what is the meaning of success or what is the meaning of anything in life, we are told that, this is what is success or this is what is this one. So a lot of people just get into things that they don't understand and they don't relate to, and try to make the best of what they are ultimately getting into. And you have traditionally, I think, even I think now, because I have two teenagers, I know that they're not helped by my point of view of the world. But yeah, a lot of us, I think, through generations have either become doctors or engineers or whatever. So you have about 1.5 lakh engineers coming out every year, getting placed in various companies. But for all of these people, who are the ones who really make a mark? I think the ones who are able to make the difference, who are able to bring in creativity in their work, whether it is designing website, whether it is designing a product, anything for that matter. Only the ones who are able to innovate and break boundaries are the ones who really find joy in what they're doing and succeed. For others, it just becomes a job.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your insight. My second question is, how does the digital overload impact our ability to be creative? This is a digital overload now. We have so much to read, but how much of it are we really reading or just scrolling? So that's the first part. And what habits can help us reclaim our creative space?
So maybe again, I'd like to step out of the equation for a moment and then come back to it. So why do we I think all of us are now victims of the digital overload, right? I think pretty much everybody, even a 70-year-old, my father would be an exception. He still refuses to be digitally connected. But I think even people across generations are hooked on to various tools and devices which kind of eat away time, and we all know the problems. So we're just trying to put things in perspective here, and maybe I just want to add my bit to it. So if you look at a larger problem which we don't kind of address or realize is why is it become such a big problem? I mean, like we spend hours on our devices, right? That's kind of the killer in itself. But if you look at what has happened in the world specific to digital or data or information availability, a small thing that maybe we may not have paid attention to is how cheap data is in India, right? Just a very small statistic on this. A single GB of data in India costs about less than 20 rupees is what I kind of was reading somewhere. So it's about 16 cents to a GB of data. You take a country like Zimbabwe, and the reason I'm able to give you these numbers is because a few years ago I was working on a project for Africa. So we were working on a banking project for Africa where we were looking at various infrastructure details of the country. So more specifically, Kenya and Nigeria were two countries that I was working on a workforce strategy. So we were looking at various infrastructure details. So one of the things that struck me was how costly data is in a country like Kenya, Nigeria, and more specifically Zimbabwe, if I remember right. A single GB of data in Zimbabwe, I don't know in today's terms, I would guess it would be in the range of maybe about $30 to $40 USD per GB of data in a country like Zimbabwe. So imagine that's about 3,500 rupees for a single GB of data. When we use data so blatantly on a daily basis, we are just online all the time, we're just scrolling, we're doing all this, we never think about that. So if 1 GB of data costed me 3,500 rupees in India, would we all be using it the same way? Probably not. So I think, when we say deep-rooted problems, I think this is one of the deep-rooted problems that we have. I think it's also good and bad because, availability of cheap data means being able to spread information better to a larger mass and all of that. But how much of, the right usage do all of us do? We know that we don't, right? We use it, of course, for all of the day-to-day work that we do, but we also use it so blatantly for things that are so unproductive, right? So I think the mindfulness needs to come in. We are mindless because it is so cheap. And I think it's the same with food in so many societies, right? If food is cheap, you tend to waste it. You don't think twice about, how you use or how we waste food. I think it's the same with data as well. So we tend to just blatantly use data to the extent that we don't care about it at all, right? So single like if you scroll through 2 hours of video on Instagram, you would have consumed less than 2 GB of data. So that's still about 40-50 rupees that you have spent, which is peanuts, really. So I think this mindlessness that we've all got used to is something that we really need to curtail. So imagine if things were not as accessible, not as easy, would you still do the same? So I think somewhere we need to bring that consciousness because you're not going to make, I'm not saying, or nobody's going to make data costlier anytime soon, right? It's only going to get cheaper. Fuel, on the other hand, is getting more expensive for multiple reasons. One is because of its availability, and two is because you make it more expensive, or let's say cigarettes or whatever. You make it more expensive, you're taxed more to reduce the swell. But what happens when things are really cheap? Just get out of certain habits. I think that's the only thing that I'd like to really add, and I'm sure all of us have access to information. We can just scroll through how do I, reduce data usage, or how do I, digitally detox. I'm sure we'll find enough information. So I just wanted to give my little perspective on that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful perspective because the entire concept of mindfulness is so interesting. You are consciously doing something. You are aware of what you're doing. You're not just doing it as a matter of routine. You're doing it because each action, even your breath, you're connecting to your breath and you're mindful. So maybe these mindfulness practices also can help at times for you to able to just a thought that I felt I should share, that you said being mindful helps. So even doing some simple mindfulness practices might help us doing the digital detox. Yeah. I go to the third question. Many workplaces prioritize routine. Routine becomes more important than innovation because it's so easy, to put yourself into a routine. If we do innovate, then we break the mold, which is very challenging, even for the individual and for the company also. So, how can leaders create a culture that supports creativity?
Great, thank you for that question. And again, I'll go back to the introduction that Pankaj gave us when he said, or was it in the video? I don't recall, but yeah, when he introduced and said that we the objective of Leaders Connect is to host 1,000 leaders and build, was it 10,000 or was it 100,000 leaders? I'm forgetting that number. But I think that's really the objective. You create leaders. Certain leaders are born. I think we can all ascribe to that this one, but I think largely I'm a product of the people that I might have kind of consciously followed. So I think it's something that's passed down, right? So you create more leaders and create the right kind of leaders. So a lot of organizations, what happens is, one more thing that I can probably also state is that unfortunately you can never choose your boss, right? In the workplace. You even get to choose your spouse, but not your boss. Your boss chooses you. You're kind of stuck with that. So you have to only hope that you get a great boss, a great manager, a great leader. But you shouldn't be kind of bogged down or be stuck with that, because you don't know what you're going to get. But you have to focus on what you want to become, right? Because every experience is a learning. So whether you have a great leader that you're working with, or you have probably someone that is not someone that would be a suitable leader, both of these situations are great learning platforms for everyone as an individual, right? So you learn on one hand, you learn how you want to be, or how a leader should be. On the other hand, you learn how a leader should probably not be. So either ways, it's a learning experience.
So true.
So yeah, I mean, like a lot of companies tend to operate in a very hierarchical manner. This I think is also a legacy. The reason why it was so is because probably you look back into history, or whether it is far back into history or more recently into history. You look at far back in history, you had the king and a few council of ministers who ran kingdoms. So they were the ones who decided everything. Then you had various forms of government coming up. You had socialist, you had the communist, and then you had the democratic this one. So more people participate in decision making and problem solving. Organization become better places, right?
Yes.
So that's what, as a leader, I would say that that's what I think we should all aim to become. We need to become more democratic, invite more participation, because I mean, like we have certain leaders have 100 or 200 or 500 or even 1,000 people under them. This leader is never going to know all of those 500 or 1,000 people. So they have layers below them. And having too many layers kind of creates smaller organizations on their own. It kind of breaks continuity, or it kind of breaks the creative flow within the organization, because it stops at certain levels. So I think in that sense, again, this is not a discussion or debate about whether hierarchy is right or wrong or whatever, but I think those are blockers. When you have probably leaner structures and leaders who are advocates of greater collaboration, and invite free speech, and listen to people's ideas, I think the workplace becomes much better. So again, like I said, you can't choose your leaders, you can't choose your organization, but that should not stop you from understanding your organization better, understanding your role better, understanding your freedom to be creative, right? You learn. I mean, like if you've done something wrong, you failed in something, you learn from it. I mean, if you have a great leader, the leader is going to give you positive feedback. If you have a bad leader, the leader is going to give you negative feedback. Either ways, you learn from it. That's the best that you can do in every situation. And as you progress, you try to become the leader that you would want to become. I think that's something that I thought I'd share.
So true. I mean, to be more creative and have a creative culture, it's necessary to be more participative and democratic. That is a culture that should be created. Thank you so much for your insight. The last question is, with AI tools, has creativity been threatened or is it being enhanced? That is the first part of the question. The second is, how can we use technology to boost innovation instead of replacing it?
Okay. So I think this is really AI has very easily become the flavor of the season, right? So all of us are in one form or the other. All of us have started experiencing AI. Started. I don't know. I mean, maybe a poll question again. How many of you have are very active users of AI tools? We can probably let everyone drop in on the chat whether they are recent users, regular users, or whatever. So let's look at it more from the perspective of the doomsday prophecy of saying that AI is going to replace everything, right? You hear that on one hand, and then there are the optimists. So I think a lot of us, few of you, or possibly all of you, might have seen Yuval Noah Harari's this one take on AI. But then you also have, on the other hand, a lot of people who have this one. So I think for one, what we have to take solace in is, our humanity will never be taken away from us, right? Your work over decades has been changing. The way that we have worked has been changing, will continue to change. That does not mean, we're going to stop working or there is going to be end of work for human beings or end of any means of, earning or living a life. I don't think that is ever going to be taken away. This is just me giving my this one, but just to kind of understand what is AI really doing? Is it helping? Is it not? So in my own experience, a few days back, I mean, like I started experimenting with AI. So I started using multiple tools to get certain pieces of work done, and I think it's just mind-boggling, really, what AI can do. So, for example, I was working on redrafting this one, policies for my organization. We spent a lot of time, kind of sitting and doing that the good old way, using all of my experience and judgment and everything. So I was just working with a lot of, existing material from the internet and plus our old, existing policy documents, our annual reports to look at what is the direction that we should be taking. So I did a lot of that. It was taking me several weeks and months, and because of the break in this one, it took me a long time to kind of put this together. One fine day, I just sat down, opened up two AI tools in parallel, and kind of just put a couple of these documents, uploaded a couple of these documents, and gave it a prompt precisely with how I would have instructed, my associates in my team who would help me draft the policy. I had to sit and review with them repeatedly to kind of get this done. It took me, it took the tool no less than 3 minutes to kind of throw up a policy document that, just kind of shook me. The kind of precision that it gave would be something that, I would have gone through multiple drafts with this one, or I myself would have potentially drafted with all of my experience. It would have taken me weeks and months of concentrated thinking to do that. It just took 3 minutes for these tools to do it. So what's the good and bad of it? The bad of it is that I might potentially have to cut down resources who would help me do this, and my own job might be on the line as well, because my job is to create policies, processes, and drive practices for governance. So if all of this can be achieved through prompts, through this one, it's a possible risk for my own job as well. But I do a lot more than just work with systems and processes. I work with people as well. So that's potentially going to save me for some more time. But yeah, so that's the power of AI. And can it easily replace? It's going to replace a lot of repeat tasks and a lot of mundane tasks, just like so one I don't know if I'm eating into time, but then just one very interesting example that I'd like to share. So recently I was visiting one of our hospital units in a different city.
Okay.
So we were I was kind of introducing the team to this new feature that we are adding into our HRMS tool, where we are going to introduce signing and e-stamping of our contracts. So my colleague in the hospital, he said, really? So that's going to take away the job of the person who used to, go from the hospital to the notary office to get this franking of that, document done. So one person was just, employed to travel between these two offices to go get a seal from the, notary and come. This was a job. That job is going to go away. So that's a job that's going to go away. But is it really a job that you're going to waste a human being on? No. This person can potentially be used for something more useful in life. He can be reskilled. He can be upskilled. That's really what we should focus on. People should be doing better things in life. I think that's the bright side of bringing in AI.
I just loved your answer, because that's what the bright side of bringing in AI, that summed it up all. And the intuitiveness of human beings should not be replaced. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know at this point of time if that is going to be replaced by AI, but we can do something better for which we are meant for as humans.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely discussing this entire topic of creativity with you. Right from beginning with AI, beginning with art. You began with art, and an example of art of Godzilla in those days. How it then reformed and the entire process, and then you came to AI. Such a beautiful discussion. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Rashmi. That the pleasure was all mine. I mean, like, of course, I'm not interacting with the audience, but then you've been great to interact with as well, Rashmi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And everyone who's joined in, thanks a lot. Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you, Arul. Thank you, Prakash, for giving me this opportunity to really discuss on such a wonderful and relevant topic. Thank you.
Prakash, my good old friend, we started off together in our earliest jobs. Thank you so much, Prakash, for having me.
Pleasure being Prem. Nice seeing you here. It is really great to see you in this platform. Thanks for joining. Thanks for investing your time to come over here and then share your experiences. Happy to see you here, in fact.
Absolutely. And congratulations on this initiative. I think it's a wonderful initiative. So I think it's really important to give people the opportunity to interact, and even if there's one small little takeaway from every session, I think it just adds value to all of us individually.
Very true, very true. Thanks very much. In fact, the whole team is operating on this, and I really thank all our members who are coming regularly. Thank all our roles, people who are taking the different roles for this. Keep it up and going. That's really great for everyone. Thanks for all. No? Thanks. And it's really been great. So continue. Yes, continue, Rashmi and Arul and Pankaj. You guys are doing a great job. Yes.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. Thank you, Mr. Prem. Thanks a lot. And thanks for, connecting and appreciating the Leaders Connect with the, creativity when you started, right? So that's where, thank you so much for connecting it with the topic today. And yes, we look forward to create 1,000+ leaders. That's the motto with which Prakash has started this initiative. And yes, we can say that we have been doing good so far, and continuously we have been doing every Wednesday, and that's where we have come to LC 205 today, and we have you today, right? So let's see what people have understood. So I would like to invite Miss Priya for our quiz, and we'll have a small quiz and see what people have understood. And the winner for today will get a book called Final Reborn, written by author Mr. Mahendra Kapadia, right?
Oh,
So, Miss Priya, over to you for the quick quiz, please.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. And Premji, that was a wonderful speech, talk, and starting from art and taking towards humans, cannot be replaced. And ultimately, we can use AI for things which people do, the mundane tasks, and humans can do bigger ones. That's a wonderful thought. Now, for everybody here, I'll just I'm just putting the question here. According to Prem sir, what would be the area of concern or improvement? Promote data usage, reduce data usage, be mindful of data usage, or restrict data usage based on users. Okay. Okay. Yes.
So, who's the winner, Miss Priya, according to you?
Yes. As usual, Kavin. He is fastest finger.
Okay, so Kevin, congratulations for being the winner, and you've been awarded with this book called Final Reborn by Mr. Mahendra Kapadia. And and you also get a bonus to unmute yourself and ask one quick question to our guest today, Mr. Prem Anand. So you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Thank you, Prakash ji, and thank you, Prem ji, for a wonderful insight. As you said, I'm one of the person who is moving much more towards the AI, and I'm trying to learn AI on most of the facts. So as in the last part of the conversation, you said like setting up the policies to redefine the policy AI has helped it out. In this case, when human like create the policy and define the policy, we will have the humanity part attached to the policy at some more defined level, not to the higher level, but on the defined level. But do you think like when we triggers few points to the AI, do we get those humanity touch to the policy?
So again, I mean, like, so what I think we should look at is the fact that what is the AI tool really doing? It is mimicking a human being, right? It is thinking. It is thinking the same way that a human thinks. It's been trained that way, right? And what would I do as a human being? I think when I create something like a policy document. So when I sit to work on a policy document, I have a team member who is, kind of, assigned this task. So what would I do? I would tell this person that here is the existing policy document. Here is the changes that I want in the policy based on all of these principles. Here are the process changes. Here are possibly, I mean, like go out and look in the internet or look at other company documents or get all the material that you can, or go, to a library, pick up a book, understand how a policy document is created, understand what are the sections, and then, ultimately, if you look at it, it is based on a set of rules and principles that you want to establish in your organization. So mine is a healthcare organization. So relative to healthcare organization, there are regulations, right? So we follow the NABH guidelines and so on. So I need to refer to NABH guidelines to incorporate, policy statements that meet the regulatory this one. So all of these are the instructions that I would give to a fellow colleague to sit and work on this one. What would this person do? He or she would sit and scout through all of these various different documents and different things, and then also struggle with aligning the document and reading one part and correlating it to another part, seeing if the statements have been duplicated or you made some redundant statements or grammatical errors. So all of these things, right? So you, as a human being, I would sit and do all of these things, and I'm working on three different things at the same time. I have to send out an offer letter. I have to answer queries from an employee. I have to sit and do this. So there is fatigue in this human being, or has to leave at 5 o'clock in the evening. So none of that applies to this tool. This tool just works in those few minutes, crunching all of these things together and getting the thing done just as a human would be. This one, you'd be surprised by some of the conversations that I mean, like few years ago, if you spoke with Alexa, you'd be surprised by how Alexa responded, right?
Yes.
You try DeepSeek, converse with DeepSeek, you will feel like you're talking to another human being today.
Yes.
So you're essentially just talking to a non-existent human being. That's the only thing.
Thank you, sir. It's like, because I'm moving more towards AI and trying to automate and implement few things in AI. I'm into the service industry. I'm doing my internal service across Tamil Nadu now, and we are moving pan India now. We are going to get the license for the pan India. So I'm trying to integrate AI in monitoring of the network, everything else. Also in the part of training, I'm using more to AI, where we are working very close wherever we could able to provide a good content and the good designs where we present. So,
but let me also caution you. I've kind of experimented and experienced this. Just like humans, AI can also be very tricky. They can give you answers when they don't really have an answer, and then you cross question. Then they admit that this is not based on fact. It's an assumption and all of that.
right.
So it can be very tricky. So you have to tread cautiously when you use the
Thank you,
tools.
sir. Thank you, Premji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really true what you just told the last, right, sir?
Yeah.
At times they have to admit, right? Because they give wrong information, because when you validate it, either it doesn't give you the answer, it will ask for more timelines, okay? If at times we ask for certain trackers or the Excel sheet or something like that, he said it is ready to download. At the moment you download, it says it's not available. Then it asks for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, the entire day also goes off. And then lastly they say, I'm sorry, I was not able to do it. So that was the
there you go. I mean, like they're behaving just like humans, no different.
true, very true. And I really like your point. This is because this is what I have really experienced, okay? Wherein I waited for 24 hours, even my first response was 30 minutes to wait. And when I waited, it took 24 hours, but I did not get what I wanted. So that is where it's really they're acting like humans only.
Right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Kevin. And
Thank you,
your
sir.
book will be sent by Mr. Arul Prakash. You'll get it. So you'll be in touch with Arul, right?
Sure.
So here we keep the forum open for open questions. So we can have 2 open questions here. So anyone who would like to ask question to our guest, can please unmute yourself and raise your hand, unmute yourself and ask a question to our guest, please. Arul, can you please check if somebody has raised his or her hand? If
Yes,
not,
we have Mr. Abhijit here. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. First of all, Prem, thank you so much for an insightful session. And I'm really sorry I'm not able to turn on my camera. I'm not in a right place to turn it on. I'm in a hospital right now. So the thing is, one
I
question that
hope you're
comes.
okay, because if
Yeah,
I'm in a
I'm okay.
hospital, it's fine. But others,
I'm
I
here
won't.
I'm here for my little one to get vaccinated. I just done it, but I was like engaging in your session throughout the way that I was there. So the question that I want to ask is like, most of the jobs are replaced by AI in coming next decade or maybe in 5 or half a decade. Most of us, we recognize ourselves with some kind of purpose when we wake up for a job. AI is going to take that purpose, right? And I think, as you said, we have to be upskilled and reskilled for the job that we want to, take over. But what I feel like most of us are identified with the job and the purpose that we live by. How difficult and how crucial it will be for a person who has been replaced by AI to find that purpose in their life when when they have to rediscover themselves? So what kind of insight you have in that particular field?
Great. I think that's very relevant, pertinent to how we look at the workplace of the future, right? So I'll just give my own example now. See, I think I have about 20 plus years of experience now. So my last qualification, if you may, was an MBA way back in 2002, right? So now if I sit and say that what I learned 23 years ago uh, uh, is what I am, or is all that I am, I think it would be very I'd become outdated in no time. So over the last 20 plus years, I've been building my capability, right? I mean, like, of course, I mean, this is a training academy, and I'm sure all of you are, kind of some way connected with training and learning principles and development methodologies and all of that, right? So you'd know when we talk about the 70-20-10 principle and so on. So you're constantly learning things. You have to constantly keep upgrading. So that applies to a person like me with 20 plus years of experience, or with someone who's got just 2 years of experience. You come out of college 2 years ago, you are more updated and upgraded than me. So how do I compare to you? I'm probably a little more valuable than a person who's come out of college 2 years ago, by the virtue that I have more years of experience. So I think that's the human to human comparison. So you never stop learning. So I've constantly been going through various training programs, various development programs. I've been part of the talent pool. So the company is invested in me. I picked up coaching as a passion that I wanted to pursue myself. So I'm constantly upgrading myself, right? And that can be both to stay relevant in the workplace, as well as to create quench the thirst of learning, and this one that I have for myself. So I think that applies to all of us. So you have to constantly keep learning and innovating. So you take something more, let's say, let's take a programmer's job. So somebody 20 years ago was learning C and C++ and even Java. Even things like VB script. So that's something that I learned. I have a background in computer science as well. I used to teach as a computer science faculty in an institute. I used to teach these things myself. I, in fact, learned Fortran and COBOL in college. None of that is relevant and applicable today, right? I never upgraded my language, computer language skills, because I didn't need it for my job. So somebody who wants to be relevant in that field needs to constantly keep learning new programming languages, or work with technologies which now do all of the coding. So you still need to work with all of those things. Forget this one. I'll talk about my own field. Uh, a dentist 20 years ago and a dentist today is not the same person. The dentist today is a techno, this one, techno professional to a large extent. This person needs to operate tools which are self-driven, which operate themselves, just has to manually guide. I mean, they do the final part of this one, working on your tooth, but then they have tools and devices that give them a better view, and this one which was not there 20 years ago. So you're always going to be getting better at your job because of tools, technology. You will only get better at your job. You need to upgrade the you need to stay relevant and upgrade yourself to the extent that you are required to do, right? Because I'm not going to become a dentist. I'm not going to become a computer programmer. So those jobs will be retained by them. AI is never going to replace somebody completely, right? A cook is going to use a lot of tools to do things better, but he or she will continue to remain a cook. So I think it's not so bad after all. So we'll only get better with all of these tools. Trust me.
Great. So I feel that you've got your answer right. So anyone else would like to ask question? One last question for the day, please.
Thanks, Prem. Thanks for the answer.
Thank you, Ji.
Okay. So if not, then we are already at 7:30 p.m. So I would like to invite our summary leader, Dr. Ishwarya. So Dr. Ishwarya, over to you for the quick summary, please. Yeah, please go ahead.
Good evening to one and all. In today's challenging world, what creativity and innovation means is art. Art is the prime example of creativity. Art is boundaryless. Art is an expression of emotion. Art tied up with innovation, with what we are consciously doing. So mindfulness practice needs to come while availing data or sharing the informations. What we have to bring conscious in getting data. And you should not struck with what you want to get. You have to walk through with what you have. You also should learn how a leader want to be and how a leader should not to be. As a leader, we should aim for democratic leadership. We have to invite leaders. AI became the favor in recent days. Whatever it may be, our humanity will not change even any decades. AI is so powerful. It is not that AI is going to replace, but we can use better use of AI. At the outset, whatever the innovations may come, we should be so mindful while using this AI so that we can create more art using creativity and innovations. Thank you. That's the end of today's summary. Thank you so
Great,
much.
Dr. Ishwarya, great. Thanks for summing up in such a small summary. Thank you so much for doing that. And here, as we move forward, I would like to invite our vote of thanks leader, Mr. Kevin. So, Mr. Kevin, please proceed for vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. Good evening. This is Kevin, corporate trainer, founder, and director of Unbound Group of Companies. It's a knowledgeable and mind-boggling discussion from art to AI usage, and at the workplace. Let me quickly share again the purpose of this thriving leadership community. Leaders Connect 360 Foundation is a non-profit organization aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDG). We are a hybrid model leadership community bringing together leaders every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. where experts in their field provide solutions to real-time leadership challenges, just like the valuable insight we received today from our esteemed guest, Mr. Prem Anand. Every last week of the month, we take a deeper dive into knowledge by inviting authors to share insights from their books, helping us grow as leaders and lifelong learners. I extend my deepest gratitude to our esteemed guest, Mr. Prem Anand, for his thought-provoking insight, our wonderful panel discussion leader, Ms. Rashmi, and our dynamic moderator, Mr. Pankaj, for leading such a valuable discussion today. See you next Wednesday. Until then, keep leading and keep growing. As a small token of our appreciation, we present a special thank you video to express our gratitude. Arul, video please. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Kevin. Thanks for the vote of thanks. And Arul, yes, let's complete the vote of thanks with the video, please. Thank you, Arul. Thank you so much. And once again, thanks to everyone for joining in. And Prem Anand, thank you so much for being there, sharing wonderful insights. And we'll be definitely in touch with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pankaj, once again. And Rashmi, thank you so much for the wonderful conversation. Thanks once again to all the people who have taken out the time. I really enjoyed this session. Thank you so much.
Me too.
Same here, sir. Please be in touch and be a part of this session. And as you share a long rapport with Prakash Sharma, so I don't need to mention much about it. So please be a part of it and be a supporter for for our mission for creating 1,000+ leaders. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.